Hello, Davie. I'm Braulio Rosa, your Public Information Officer. I'm very happy to have our Mayor, Mayor Tom Truex. Good day, Mayor.
Hello, nice to be here again.
Can you tell me, since we're almost through our budget season, how did that budget work out for us here in the town this year?
Okay, well, I'm happy to report to the residents that the town is solvent, at least for the coming year. And, you know, I think that the budget process actually went fairly well. As I'm speaking right now, we're not totally finished with it. But thus far, I mean, we've had to make some cuts with cuts the state's required. But I think, as we discussed last time I was here, there are some cuts I think that residents are going to feel, depending on which town programs you're involved with. But certainly the main core public safety type items, I think the residents and the businesses and the students and everybody in town is going to be able to go to bed at night and sleep knowing that you're going to be safe in your homes and your businesses. I think those the public safety is something really we've made an effort to support that, to the extent we can with the budget situation that we have. I think the town, we made out actually a lot better than some of the other municipalities and other government entities. I think are looking at either looking at a loophole to get out of making the cuts that the state required, or else are cutting services in a way or raising fees in other areas. That's probably going to have an impact, and I think Davie has really not done that. We've fared pretty well.
Well, you had mentioned that you were talking about the state required cuts and state legislation they've put on for January ballot, a super exemption. Can you tell us your thoughts on that?
Right. Well, the town hasn't officially, I don't think, taken any real position on that. So let me just say right out of the box that it's what I'm giving you is sort of my opinion. But right, the second part of what the legislature did this year was that so-called super exemption that voters are going to have an opportunity to vote on this coming January of 2008. And first of all, I think people have to realize it only potentially impacts people that own homesteads. So, for example, renters or people with commercial property, this part of the package has no impact on them at all. But to the extent that it does have an impact on people with homestead, it's been real interesting since the legislature came up with this idea to put this on the ballot. There's been a lot of analysis and a lot of discussion on it, and it turns out that a lot of people will see no benefit. And in most every case, if not every case, the benefit will be short-lived. Now, I'm talking only about people with homestead again. But as it turns out, if you've owned your homestead for a number of years, you would be worse off if you elected this so-called super exemption. And for people who have lived in their home, moved in more recently, initially they may fare a little bit better on their tax bill, but usually going out 6, 7, 8 years, they'll find that they're going to do less well under the so-called super exemption than they would under the existing Saver Homes exemption. If you own homestead property and you really want to figure out the impact on you, I would highly recommend that you go to the county's website. But if you go to that website, that will enable you to calculate the impact, and they'll give you a graph and a chart, and it's really instructive. And then you folks will just have to determine which way they want to vote. But probably in Broward County, it's my understanding, the vast majority of the people are not going to see any real benefit from that so-called super exemption that we're going to have a chance to vote on.
So it would seem to me that it would be more of an instant gratification type thing, a short-term gain, but in the long run, a majority of people would probably not fare as well.
Well, I think that's pretty accurate. And the other thing about it, again, my personal opinion is, at some point the state legislature is going to have to fix the mess that we have with the property taxes. And again, my opinion only, I don't think anything they did this year remotely approached fixing the problem that we have. There's the problems with the inequities of the homeowners versus the renters versus the commercial businesses. There's just a lot that needs to be fixed. And in my opinion, passing this super exemption just takes us, just tangles us further up in this spaghetti bowl that we have, just a sort of a mess of tax things. And I think it'll make it more difficult rather than less difficult to fix these problems and address these problems, you know, when some future legislature really has a mind and the will to get down to it.